I picked up a dirt cheap side-by-side. It has a couple little issues, but overall it's actually in really good condition. I thought I'd bring you guys along, take a look at it, see what it needs. Got really high mileage, but I think it's going to be okay. I don't think the brakes work right. But other than that, I think everything else is sound. Let's play with it. I paid $1,700 for this. It has a brand new winch. Well, it's new sitting around. It has actually never been used. It has brand new tires. The old man I got it from put brand new tires. He said new tires, but I didn't expect like brand new. It has been garage kept its entire life. I saw the seat covers. I'm like, oh no. Guess what? The seats aren't cracked. They're not split. They're not nothing. They've had a seat cover since new. It has a full enclosed cab kit without the. I actually don't like these clear windows. They always like fog up and stuff like that. These have a mesh, which is actually really nice. It'll keep out the cold for the most part, but never really frost up or fog up. What else? Oh, has a full cover. So we have a full ATV cover. I haven't even looked at it. It feels pretty nice. It's probably a cheap one. Who knows? That's something completely different. Hey, $8 for a jack. 3-ton. Completely separate. But has a hardtop, windshield with kick out, full street legal kit with turn signals and horn and stuff like that. But a couple little things noted to it. Super high mileage, like almost like 11,000 miles, which is high. The e-brake does not work, and when I push on the brakes right here, it almost sounds like we're metal on metal pads. It doesn't sound like, it might just be really squeaky. It doesn't sound like we actually have any brake pads left in the front. Take a look. The guy he said he put a brand new air filter in there because he had one. Just a nice little old man. And it looks like our battery is new, or really new. Oh, 8 to 24. Said he just barely put it in a couple months ago, which makes sense. The battery was manufactured like exactly 1 year ago, but not bad. Everything's super clean. This was just never really taken off-road, just driven on the street in Arizona, I guess. Stop. We lost a pine cone or something. We're going crazy. Go ahead and get it. Okay, the mileage. I think I might have already fixed the mileage. Yes, Cal. So let's look. What do we have? 11,293. But if you look over here, that says kilometers per hour. So Yamaha has a unique feature to switch between miles and kilometers. You hold down the Odo button and you just turn it on. Let's see if we can do this one-handed. See if I did it fast enough. Yep, there we go. So now you'll notice mile per hour. I actually only have 7,058, but that's still actually really high mileage for one of these. Most of these Yamaha Rhinos are sitting around 5,000 miles, but I've seen ones that do 10,000 miles or so, which I guess would be close to 20,000 kilometers or something. So there, we fixed the mileage problem, kinda. It's still high mileage, but not that it really makes a big difference. Easy enough. Actually sounds really good. Yeah. Has rear bumpers. They don't come with that. Let's check out this air filter. Now, a lot of these Yamahas end up needing to have their engines rebuilt at only a few thousand miles because K&N air filters. And let's see what this one has on it. Oh, this is a foam filter. Interesting. Yeah, it looks like he attempted to oil it. The oil hasn't soaked all the way around, but it is oiled. So I do like foam filters. But you throw those K&N ones in, they're just so paper thin, you don't realize how thin the gauze is, and it just lets so much dirt through and it destroys the top end of your engine. So that right there is the rear drive line, this rusty piece, and that goes in the rear differential, and the e-brake sits on that. Then each wheel has its own independent brake pad. On older models, that was the only rear brake. There was no brake pads on each wheel. Yeah, on the way home from picking up this side-by-side, I stopped at the thrift store, and this was sitting there for $8. It was pumping up in the store. Now it's not pumping up. Let's see what we got. I think it's super low on fluid. Oh, now it's not pumping up. Just had an air pocket for me lifting it up. You just loosen the jack all the way so it drops down, and when it's loosened, you pump it a dozen times, and that pumps out any air. So now, I noticed in the store that it didn't pump up all the way. It pumped up like 3/4 of the way, saying that, you know, we're missing a little bit of fluid. But it works. Let's pop this wheel off and see what the brake pads look like. Yeah, we're low on fluid right there. We're out of fluid. That's all the fluid she has. That's about what they are new. So maybe we'll just spray them down with some brake cleaner and just see if we can clean them up a little bit so they stop squeaking so bad. I mean, they squeak bad. I don't know if you guys can see that. It's just a little worn. Not a big deal. That's to be expected with those miles. But the steering and stuff like that feels fantastic. Like your tie rod ends and stuff like that, there is absolutely no place. So let's go around, spray the other ones, see if they're good. Let's check the brake fluid, I guess. There's nothing in there? What? The brakes work. There's absolutely nothing in there at all. Huh. Let's fill that up, I guess. Let's see if there's a leak somewhere. I guess I gotta take the other ones off, see if it's leaking somewhere. There we go. Nice and full. And of course, I dropped the piece of foil that's down in there right into the thing, so I had to dig through it. Anyway. Funny little story with those little foil caps on oil bottles and stuff like that. I met a guy once, and he said he had a small block Chevy that he had bought from somebody and drove it for 10 plus years, and he decided one day to replace the valve cover gaskets because they were leaking. So he pulls off the valve cover, and it's just full of these little foil seals from oil bottles or STP or something. Just, he said there had to be 30 just sitting around, bouncing around with the valves for the last 10 years he'd driven it. So the guy before him, every time he must have put a bottle in the oil fill port, he must have just put it in there and squoze it or something and popped the foil cap off. Said the whole inside was just littered with those foil things, and it never did any damage to the engine. So let's actually, this doesn't feel like it's connected to anything. It doesn't feel like, well, it kind of feels like it's moving something. Let's take off the engine cover and see if we can see in there real fast. You can see it moving the cable. So this thing is like, I haven't looked under here yet. It's pristine. What's this? This looks like a water pump gasket. I actually think these might have water pump issues, like the impeller or something falls off or wears out. So looks like that's done. I didn't really ask him about that. This thing has never been in mud in its life. That looks fantastic. Huh. Probably a sign to the gravel roads that this has been driving up. I picked out like 4 of these out of the front bumper. So yeah. Okay guys, look right there and tell me if you see that cable pull that. Okay, they're moving. So I think I actually, we're going to pull that off, but I think I actually have a set of spare brake pads for my 04, which should be the exact same. Should be these ones right here. The bottle does not fit down in there, so we use a little port as a little funnel. Then we don't have as far to go. What do you guys work under? An $8 jack? And if you don't die, I'm safe. Go underneath, crawl, come on. Crawl underneath, see? It's safe for me now because it's been laboratory tested on Ginger. This thing is so clean. I have worked on a ton of four-wheelers, ATVs, UTVs, and I don't think I've ever seen something that supposedly has this much miles that is this clean. This thing has never been off-road. This thing has just driven up and down a gravel road its whole life. Okay, it looks like we're only 2 bolts. Usually it's just 2 bolts to take out the caliper, and we'll just pull that out and be able to look at those brake pads. This is the top one. I can see this. I can't see down here, but it looks like we got a broken off bolt right there. Just the head of it. It's gone. Huh. I mean, it's been gone for a minute if it's there. There's 2 studs on the back. I might have just been looking at the wrong studs on the front. So we can take both of these bolts out of the back. And then I think maybe the caliper will drop. This might just be a stud and not a broken off bolt that I see. There we go. Is it? You know what? That's weird. Okay. There's the head of the bolt. That's the end of the bolt. So it screws in from this side to give clearance so it doesn't hit the brake, the disc. Okay. Well, we don't need to take any of that off. Okay. There's not a broken bolt. And those pads still look pretty decent. So we just have to adjust it right here, the throw. I couldn't see the inside pad. So I broke the lock nut free. And this just twists in to adjust it. Really simple. Might be a little on the tight side. Let's feel. I think that's good. So I was just noticing something. People know what this is. This is a sway bar. And I'm pretty sure this is part of the recall. So I don't know if you guys remember the news stories, the Yamaha Rhino back in the 2010s or maybe even before that. They had all those lawsuits about people dying and rolling over, and part of the remedy is to remove the sway bar. So, and I think the idea behind that is it doesn't give the people the sense of stability that a sway bar does. The sway bar really doesn't it doesn't give you more stability, it just gives you this sensation of more stability. And then they also, on models, like mine has no sway bars, but they put spacers on the rear wheels that, I don't know, I think they're almost an inch wider. So it gave a wider stance, and this doesn't look like it has it either. I don't know. I'd have to measure. I don't know if this 2008, if it's already made wider, like this distance, if that's already part of it. This sway bar out. There's absolutely no point in having a sway bar on something you take off-road. So I did just barely look it up online, and yeah, this should have been part of the recall. So I called in, and there is no active recall because people don't realize recalls expire. So let's look at mine. Part of the recall is, I don't know if you guys can see, my tires actually stick out about an inch further because there are spacers back here. Yamaha put factory spacers, aluminum, in there. That was part of the recall. Doors were part of the recall. So not all of them, early models didn't even come with doors. So people were just falling out. The sway bar that I mentioned, but I believe also this grab handle is part of the recall. So this probably isn't good. This is the positive from the battery to the winch, the Harbor Freight winch, and that's positive right there. That's negative, and it's just floating around. I'm gonna have to find like an old inner tube or something and wrap that up. Put a boot around it, but we'll put it under the strap for a second. I pulled out all the fuses just to look at them. I find it better, any new piece of equipment, I pull the fuses and look at them, make sure they're good, versus like finding out something is bad. But even there's a nice fine layer of dust on everything. So nothing's been touched in here, which is good. I'm gonna put a little bit more oil on the filter. The guy said he had just barely changed it, and we are greased down here, which is good. I already mentioned it, but serious, if you have a K&N air filter that somebody's put in a piece of equipment that sees dust, just rip it out. It's sad, but that stuff right there will just lets dust pass. Let this soak in. We got blue and red, we'll end up with nice purple. Just cut up a chunk of inner tube. Old inner tube. I see people all the time when I repair inner tubes and videos, are like, you just buy a new inner tube. Look how thick an old inner tube is. This is an 1/8 of an inch thick. You just don't get that in new stuff. New stuff, inner tubes are paper thin. So, let's wrap this around. Tip for you on zip ties. When you cut off a length of old zip tie, you just back the other ones on it, and you create this little chain for yourself. So to start that chain, you cut that off, and then you just take another one and you just feed it on, and it holds them all in a nice little group for you. Hey, the $8 jack hasn't dropped. Went to lunch and everything, but I am not seeing fluid loss from any caliper anywhere. I don't see it from any fitting. I mean, these are all dry as a bone. We got fitting right there. Followed the line. We got a little bit of oil just around the CV boot. This is the brake line right here. It's all nice and open. I mean, unless it's leaking, I see no wet spots underneath. All the calipers are dry. So the only thing I notice else that is missing is the winch remote. And so this is where the winch would mount, or the remote would mount to make it work. And it looks chewed up, and I cannot get this cap off. Thanks, Harbor Freight. Sometimes when you buy cheap stuff, China does not know how to make rubber or plastic worth a darn. Somehow this has welded itself on, and it looks like other people have tried to chew it off. Maybe I can get my Leatherman under there one-handed and see if we can just pry it up. I played for a second the other night. No. Can you believe that? It's almost like glued on. Never seen this. There we go. You know what it is? It's this rubberized plastic in the Arizona heat. Yeah, so the guy would take this down in his pickup truck every year, he said, to Arizona, and use it kind of like a golf cart. Use it instead of a car, just to drive around. Owned it since new. So, that Arizona heat is nothing to be messed with, and melts everything. You see, like these, I bet you these were black plastic, and Arizona heat just chalks everything up. Is that black? Yeah, it's black. That's black plastic that's turned white because it's got so hot in the Arizona heat. Huh. Got a magnet there. That's cool. It's kind of cool. Feels kind of weird to have the tool sitting above your head and just random stuff, but there we go. It is. What happens if we take it off? Yep. Fixed. Let's put the seats back in. I've said this in so many videos. Old people are awesome at keeping paperwork. I have everything. I have paperwork from the original kit. He has original stickers that he never put on because those are from Utah in 2000, that expired 2009 because he registered it in Arizona. But we have original tag. We have where he spent for these side doors. See, I've never seen these really exactly like this. He had these custom made. He spent $400 to have an upholstery shop custom make these for him. You know, so that's kind of cool. K-Tex is the material, whatever that is. Rhino side doors, 360 bucks, 400 bucks. So I thought these were really nice. They didn't seem like China made because they come with nice YKK zippers and stuff, which work amazing. I'm like, that's kind of a cool design. So yeah, they're custom made by an upholstery shop, but extra keys, everything. Oh, I mean, we have extra little rubber straps to hold down the hood. There's brand new ones he told me about for they're accordions for the door. Old people keep everything, and they keep all their paperwork, and everything's like, got the owner's manual. I don't know. You guys rock. Oh yeah. Yeah, no brake noise. Full of fine dust. Just a little tall. Ready to go? Let's go. Got one of the first issues. So the four-wheel drive works, but it's seldom ever been used. Like, I asked the guy, he's like, oh yeah, but I never use it. But this is supposed to swing over, and I think the Arizona heat melted it, so you can put on the locker. I don't want to break it, but I might. I think I might have broke it. I mean, I got it to move over. It's not broken, but yeah. The locker engages. Hold on, I'm probably gonna move forward just a coach. There he goes. Locker's engaged for the front. Let's not do that. This Rhino doesn't have a gate on the other one, so she doesn't fall out. We're not set up for you to grab branches on this one. Well, we got a guard here. Why? Because we fell out, but we put our leg in here when we fell out, and we turned upside down and our leg was stuck. Now does your leg hurt? I think it's okay, but we're not happy about that. I knew I should bring the net off the other one. I have like that's like a whole net, so she has something to lean against. But I wasn't even going fast. I wasn't even doing anything. I was just going straight up the trail and just trying to grab this stinking tree branch. Dogs. Let's go. most off-roading this machine has ever done in its life. If it's 7,061 miles or whatever. Nubs we got left? Well, we still got little bits, but we're getting them. Okay, we removed the sway bar from the back, so let's see what the articulation is like. So they shut the gate down there in winter, so people just go around. And they just barely brought up a huge tractor and dug a 4-foot hole with a mound of dirt. But Ginger says she wants to try it. She thinks we can get in and get out. We don't really have a winch that works, so hopefully we can. Somebody's 10mm socket somewhere. Deep, nope, looks like a 1/2 inch. Maybe a 13? What is it? 12mm. Yeah, that works too. Put about 10 miles on it. Everything works fantastic. It has performance shocks. That was part of this silver, whatever this is, sport. It's like a sport Rhino or something else like that. The sport edition. So they put performance reservoir shocks. But they're adjusted, so like the rebound is super fast. So you go over something, and these back shocks just like shoot back down. I saw in the manual that you can adjust them, so those need to be adjusted. They probably never have been touched if they were first put on. You think you like it, Ginger? Yeah. Well, I think that's it, guys. Working good, runs good. Thanks for watching, guys. Have a good one. Bye. You have to have a side-by-side with lockers. You saw the wheels coming off the ground. It's just pointless without. You're gonna whack your head against a tree one of these days. How's your leg? You want to get out and run for a minute? It's too hot. You want to get out and run? No? Just prune?